The timeline of computer evolution is massive. It contains many breakthroughs over many years. This quick glimpse into this timeline is only to show how amazingly well Moore's Law has worked in mobile computing. Only a few examples will be used, but the impact will still be noticeable.
We will start with the Palm 3. This was one of the first PDAs that went global. Palm 3 was manufactured by Palm Computing and release date of March 1998. It used the Palm OS as its operating system. It had the Motorola Dragon Ball, a 16 MHz processor, and only a 2 MB storage capacity. The display was 160 by 160. It was a backlit monochrome touchscreen. Connectivity of the device was only infrared and a proprietary port. The dimensions were pretty hefty for the device, giving a weight of 5.6 ounces. This first device compares so poorly with today's, it's amazing that this was a prized possession of many only 13 years ago. Released in March 2001, the Slim Visor Edge featured a Dragon Ball CPU also, but it was clocked at 33 MHz. It was packed with 8 MB of RAM or storage, and it also had a Palm OS, but it featured the version 3.5.2H with a Handspring Special OS. It also had a 160 by 160 pixel grayscale display that is standard for most Palm PDAs. However, at the time, it was the thinnest and lightest razor, weighing in at about 4.8 ounces. In June 2003, HP introduced the H1 line of its iPads, which were a Windows mobile-based PDA device. It included 64 megs of RAM, a 16 MB ROM. One of the new features was the SD card slot for external memory. Processor speed was 203 MHz, and it used the operating system Windows Mobile 2003, and it finally had a colored screen. This device was benchmark and pivotal because it increased the processor speed of PDAs immensely and shows a big increase due to Moore's Law. The HTC Titan became available in June of 2007. It was a PDA smartphone, one of the first smartphones. Weighing in at 5.8 ounces, it ran Windows Mobile 6.0. Processor speed was 400 MHz, it had 64 MB of RAM, 256 MB of ROM, featured a full QWERTY keyboard and a touchscreen. The display was 240 by 320, 2.8-inch color LCD. It had a built-in 2.0 megapixel camera. It had Bluetooth 2.0, Wi-Fi, infrared, USB, and of course cell phone connectivity. This was so innovative. Linking your cell phone, your PDA together was revolutionary in the communication and information age. It was also another jump due to Moore's Law.
In January 2007, Steve Jobs announced the first iPhone at the Macworld Expo. The first iPhones were released June 29, 2007, concurrent with the release of iOS 1, which at the time was known as iPhone OS. Each year has brought a revision of the iPhone as well as a new version of the iOS.
Which brings us to Apple's newest phone, the iPhone 4S. While more of a revision than an actual new phone, it does contain a number of hardware upgrades which make it superior to the iPhone 4. The new A5 dual-core processor is said to be twice as fast as that of the iPhone 4, and the new dual-core GPU 7 times faster. The phone's been upgraded with an 8 megapixel camera, which records video in 1080p. The battery has been upgraded, and the antennas have been upgraded to help with call reception.
With us here today, we have a Droid Incredible made by HTC. It is an Android phone. To start off, we have a 1 GHz Snapdragon central processing unit, an 8 GB internal storage, 748 MB ROM, and 512 MB RAM. Since the release of the Droid Incredible in 2010, its operating system has been through 3 updates. The first was Eclair, the second was Froyo, and the third and most recent has been Gingerbread. Now, as we look on the outside of the phone, you can see a 3.7-inch AMOLED display screen, which makes blacks look deeper and colors more vibrant. It's also to help with the battery life, since that's one problem that the Droid Incredible has. All Droids, actually. On the top around this red bar, there are proximity sensors that you can't see, but they're there. And they're used for calls to see when your head or when an object moves away from the phone so that the screen can light up again. And moving down to the bottom, we have an optical trackpad. This helps for navigation throughout the phone and selecting objects on the phone also. Now moving to the left on the side of the phone, you can see that we have an up and down roll bar and a USB port on the side. On the bottom is just a simple lanyard. and on the top we have the power button and a microphone jack. Now to finish off, on the back we have an 8 megapixel camera with dual LED flash lights and a speaker to the right. Many users of the Incredible today are high school and college students because of its social apps and convenience, but applications on the market also make it readily available and convenient for businessmen and women.
The first iPad was released April 3rd, 2010, which started the whole tablet kick. Apple sold more than 15 million before the launch of the iPad 2. With the App Store growing every day and the power of the iPad surpassing all those around it, it will always be the top of the market, or very close to it, being very good competitor for years to come. The iPad is the Apple's tablet computer. To most, it looks like an iPod Touch on a bigger scale. iPads run Apple iOS, which is now up to iOS 5. The user interface is very easy to use, but isn't very customizable, unless jailbroken, which means to hack the iPads, the changes can be made. Android is an operating system for mobile devices. Tablets run Android Honeycomb, with the newest update being 3.2.1. Android runs off a Linux-based code with a friendly user interface that is very customizable. Tablets that run Android vary on processor speed and screen resolution due to the various numbers of tablets on the market today. Android Honeycomb is used by almost all tablet users who own anything other than an iPad. The battery life is pretty decent, lasting about 8 hours on normal use.
As you can see so far, technology has increased in leaps and bounds, proving Moore's law and giving us vast increases to our mobile computing. Recently, mobile computing has reached a whole new level.
This is the new Samsung Windows 8 tablet. It's a developer build. It's not final hardware yet, but it's already very nice. It is running Windows 8 as its operating system, which is only in development for tablets right now. And we're looking at the new Metro UI, which is designed for tablets. And you can see here it's very smooth flowing, and all the keys are very large. It's very specified towards tablets. The specs are, it has a Core i5 processor, which you'd find in most computers, is 11.6-inch display, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of solid-state drive for the hard drive, and it has a USB port, Ethernet port, and HDMI port, so you can plug in all your flash drives, you can hook it up to external TVs. It's a very solid build tablet. Where this tablet really shines, though, is that an entire desktop build of Windows is underneath the Metro UI. It's not some watered down version of an operating system like you'd find on maybe like the iPad. This is the full Windows experience. This is Internet Explorer running right in Windows 8, and as you would be using Windows 7, you use this tablet the exact same way. It's very impressive, and this is where the specs of this hardware really shine.
This is obviously not the end for mobile computing. It's anyone's guess what is next.